Have you ever been fishing and a lightning storm came about? Are you scared? Good morning, guys and girls. It is March 21, March 21st, wow. James 5:13, that's the scripture we're going to be looking at. It's kind of like one of my favorites, a lot of my favorites. It's a small one. Anyone who is having troubles should pray. That's right. Anyone who is having troubles should pray. Lightning strikes can be one of the most frightening things to happen out on the water. Most lakes, your boat is the tallest thing around, and it's a sure target for lightning. And think about it. You're standing there in the boat with a 7 or 7.5 or 6.5 foot lightning rod in your hand. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Some of the hottest storms Chris and I have ever encountered have been on East Texas lakes such as Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, and Lake Fork. I think the hottest I've ever seen was on Lake Fork one day. And Chris and I was up in this bay, and it was knocking the tops out of trees everywhere, and it was just absolutely thunder booming down, and we thought this might be it right here. And we've actually seen 3 different people in 2 different occasions get killed by lightning on lakes when we were nearby. I'm talking within sight. It's a frightening deal. Your best bet when lightning comes, when you're fishing, is either get under a bridge or go to the bank and find cover. Obviously, a lightning storm is one of those good times to pray. Absolutely. For a lot of believers, trouble is the only time they let God work in their lives. It's the only time they pray. God will be there to carry us through our storms, but if we let Him walk with us every single day, He'll keep us out of most trouble. You know, the Bible also says, and I probably have a verse in this Catch of the Day book somewhere, pray without ceasing. That means that, don't mean you just pray 24 hours a day, but it means that throughout the day, you kind of say little prayers. God, help me get through this. God, thank you for doing that. God, thank you for getting me here safely. Just a little prayer right down in here. You don't even need to say it out loud because God knows your thoughts. God knows your heart. So you can just pray silently to God. A lot of little bitty short prayers throughout the day. Something really good happens. God, thank you for that. Hey, God, thank you for giving me a first-class seat here the other day from Atlanta back to Oklahoma City. That was really nice, really nice. Out of 7 flights that week, that was the only first class I got, but I thank you for that one, dear Lord. Little things like that, I think, mean a lot to God. I think they're important to Him. And, you know, it's kind of like fishing. One of my rules of thumb in fishing is if it's important to the fish, I make it important to me. That's a pretty good rule for life. If it's important to God, I want to make it important to me. Because the things that are important to me are important to God. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, here's our tip for this week. A subtle rattle in a crankbait is sometimes better in clear water. So, you know, we like crankbaits that rattle a lot. We like baits that make a lot of noise because sound transmits really, really well in the water, and the fish can hear it from a long way off. And particularly if the water's kind of dingy or muddy, that sound will attract them and move them over to it, and allow us to catch those fish a lot of times. But if you're in really, really clear water, that sound sometimes can actually scare the fish. That's right, it can actually scare the fish. So, with that in mind, if it's clear, you might want to use crankbaits that have very little sound in them, or crankbaits that have no sound at all. One of the baits that doesn't have any sound is balsa baits. I think that's one of the reasons why balsa baits sometimes work really, really well, is because they're not making any noise at all. So just keep that in mind. The clearer the water, the less you want your bait to rattle. Hey guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. It's springtime. Fish is biting all over the United States. They're even beginning to bite a little bit further up north than Oklahoma. So go out there and have you a great one. I love you.